What's up guys, my name is Jack, I'm at Tech Videos, and it is new iPad day. I've just come back from the Apple Store with the new M4 iPad Pro, plus some accessories. So there are kind of three big headline features with this new iPad. The first being the thinness. This is the thinnest device that Apple has ever made, even thinner than the iPod Nano. We also jumped straight from the M2 chip to the M4. CUM3, we didn't even get to see you in an iPad Pro, and that brings up to 50% faster CPU performance and up to 4 times faster GPU performance. And then there's the displays. So last generation, the 11-inch had just your standard typical display, whereas the 12.9-inch had the mini LED display. This time around, both sizes are using the same display tech. They've both now been upgraded to OLED for the first time on the iPad. And that's going to bring perfect blacks, much better contrast ratios, and no more sort of blooming like we had on the mini LED M2 iPad Pro. The front camera is now on the long side of the iPad, where it should be, so your eyes are level to it. And we also have some changes with the new Magic Keyboard and the new Apple Pencil Pro. So we'll get these unboxed and I'll show you a look around. And yeah, if you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. So we'll start with the iPad first. Everyone loves an unboxing video, right? This is like the best part of buying a new Apple product. So just for some specs, I got the 1TB model, the iPad Pro 13-inch with M4, and I just went for the Wi-Fi because I don't really need cellular on the iPad, and when I do, I will just, tether it to my phone. And this is actually a downgrade in size from my M2. I got the 2TB M2, and I just never got anywhere near filling it up, so I felt like it was a bit of a waste, so I sort of downgraded to 1TB. So let's take a look. Okay. So in the box, we have the iPad itself, and then we have a little wallet. In here, we've just got quick start guide, some tips, and more tips in different languages. But you'll notice there are no Apple stickers. So Apple are no longer including stickers in the box. Apparently you can still get them if you go into a store and you just ask for them. But yeah, as part of their environmental goals, it looks like they're not doing stickers in their product boxes anymore. And you'll also notice there's no plug in the box. Last time we got this folding plug included. Apparently this is just like a UK and EU thing. So if you're watching in America, I believe you do still get a plug in the box. But yeah, no plug in the UK or Europe. And here we have a lovely black braided USB-C to USB-C cable. And the reason it's black is because I went for the space black iPad Pro. So let's take a look. Oh wow, so here it is. Yeah, this is the space black. Now, when I ordered this, I was pretty set on getting the space black, matte black everything, as Marquez would say. But when I went into the store and I saw the silver with the matching Magic Keyboard, they both look really nice. I mean, whichever one you get, I think you'll be really happy with it. But yeah, when I ran a poll, loads of you as well said that you think that the space black looks the best. And I do love how sort of sleek and elegant it looks. It's just, somehow makes it feel more pro. And just holding it in the hand, you can really feel how thin this is. This is now the thinnest device that Apple has ever made. This just comes in at 5.1 millimeters. It's even thinner than the 7th gen iPad Nano, which I happen to have here. So I'll just put them side by side so you can have a bit of a look. And I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera. So yeah, this iPad is thinner than an iPad Nano, which is honestly crazy. And yet it doesn't feel weak or flimsy or anything. I mean, I am not going to try and bend this thing. I'm sure someone else on YouTube will, but I mean, I'm feeling pretty confident just holding it in my hand that this thing is going to, be pretty structurally sound. Now, I'd also have my current iPad Pro, the M2. So this is how the colors look side by side. The space black is a lot darker and the space gray is, more of just a dark gray. And here they are both side by side, so you can sort of get an idea of the difference. And I just want to point out the cameras because there's a few changes here. Firstly, there's no sort of glass covering the sort of camera bump. Now it's sort of this metal unibody design. And here on the M2, we had two cameras. We had the wide and ultra wide, but here on the M4, we only have the wide camera. I'm guessing maybe just not enough people use the ultra wide, so they just got rid of it. I mean, it is useful to have a rear camera on the iPad just for sort of scanning documents and stuff. And what they have done is they have improved the True Tone Flash, which uses sort of AI and stitching and stuff to apparently remove shadows when you go to scan a document. So that's pretty cool. So let's get this thing booted up and we will have a look at the new display. Now I'm just going to set this up as like a blank iPad just so we can have a quick look around. Oh wow, so this is the new OLED display. I'm just going to turn it down a bit just because it might be a little bit too bright for camera. Hopefully you can still see that. And yeah, it's just so sort of like colourful and vivid and just looks amazing. Now, if you notice these reflections, I did just go for the standard display option. They do now have a new option to go for sort of like more of a matte option using the nano texture like they have on their XDR display, which kind of scatters the light and sort of makes the screen sort of a lot less reflective. But seeing them in person, it does kind of scatter the light across the screen, so you kind of lose out on some of that contrast. So I don't know if it's sort of right for me. I think most people, you don't need to get the nano texture display. The standard will be fine unless you do sort of like a lot of work outdoors or something. And that nano texture is only available on the 1 and 2 terabyte models. So you have to sort of make a bit of a big jump up if you want to get that more pricier display. And there's also a similar thing going on with the chip. So if you get the 256 or 512 gig model, they come with a 9-core CPU and 8 gigs of RAM, whereas the 1 and 2 terabytes come with a 10-core CPU and 16 gigs of RAM. But sort of bear that in mind when sort of purchasing these. It'll be interesting to see if there is really any noticeable difference between them. I'm sure we'll find out in a few days. But yeah, this display just looks amazing, and they're actually using something called a tandem OLED on this, because the problems with OLEDs is when you start making bigger panels, they don't get as bright. So for Apple to sort of hit their brightness goal on these, they're actually using 2 OLEDs stacked on top of each other to get that incredible brightness. And yeah, this display does get very bright. So it's very impressive. I'm impressed. This is going to make for a fantastic £2,000 Netflix machine. I'm joking. So I've just got some HDR video playing here off YouTube, and the display now goes from 600 nits before up to 1000 nits for standard SDR content, with up to 1600 nits for sort of peak HDR content. So these displays are going to get pretty bright. And just looking at this video, this just, wow, it really does look impressive. If you've got like an Apple store near you, then highly recommend that you definitely go down and just check them out. Just sort of feel the thinness in your hand and get a look at these displays in person, because I think this is probably the best display that I own now on any device that I own, and I'm really excited to hopefully see this come across to the MacBooks. And Apple said that the reason they jumped from M2 straight to M4 was they needed to create a new display driver for these OLED displays. So maybe when the M4 does come to the Macs, we might start seeing some OLED Macs as well, which I'm here for it. And here with the front camera, yeah, it's been moved to the long side here. So when you're looking at it, and you're on like a FaceTime call, you're not going to be like looking down to the side like before. So this is much better placement here up top. And there you all are with my dirty piece of cardboard just hanging on top. So let's now take a look at some accessories, and we'll start with the new Magic Keyboard. So you will notice I went for the black to match the space black iPad, and here it is. So let's pop the iPad on. So, but there's a couple of changes here. Firstly, you'll notice this new sort of metal bottom part, which is going to make this a lot more sort of rigid and sturdy. It already feels like, it makes it feel a lot more like a MacBook, which is nice. And they also finally brought function keys to the iPad. So we have a row of shortcut buttons up here with like brightness controls. We've got focus mode, Siri, media playback. So that is honestly one of my like biggest gripes with the old Magic Keyboard. So I'm so happy to see that they're finally brought them over to the new one. And we also have a larger trackpad now. So this is going to make it easier to do those like multitasking gestures. And it also has haptics now. So you can sort of feel like a haptic feedback as you click it. So it now just makes it feel a lot more like a MacBook. And I do really like this sort of dark metal color. It sort of looks really premium. But when I was in the store today and I saw the silver version with the white keys, like, I don't know, that looked so nice as well. The only reason I settled on this one is I felt that this one would be maybe easier to stay clean. There's, you know, this has black keys instead of white, but they both look really nice, whichever one you go for. And I was worried about fingerprints, but they don't seem to be showing up, so pretty good. Now we'll just bring in the old Magic Keyboard just for a quick comparison. So we have the new one here on the right and the original one here on the left. So you can see the new metal top versus the sort of rubber here. Now we do still have rubber on the back of the iPad Magic Keyboard here, and also on the underside, This is also still that sort of same rubber material. So yeah, the metal doesn't go all the way through to the other side. But we can see as well, the trackpad is quite a, you know, a decent amount larger. Like that's maybe like, I don't know, an extra inch in diameter. So great for me and my massive hands. You also notice that we don't have any function rows up here on the old Magic Keyboard, but here we have all of these shortcut buttons as well. And just for like a quick weight test, because this new iPad, as well as being thinner, that also makes it lighter as well. So just to sort of hold them both in the hand. I mean, it does feel lighter, not like massively so. Now I don't have any like super accurate scales, but I've got some kitchen scales, so I will pop those on there and give you an idea of how much these weigh all together. But just looking at the sort of like the outer casing on the keyboards here, you can see sort of like the marks do show up after about, I don't know, a year and a half. This is what it looks like new. So maybe the white looks better. If anyone has like the old white version of this, then let me know, you know, how's it held up for you, because maybe I will swap and get the silver, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. Let me know in the comments. And just for like another comparison here, now that the M4 iPad Pro is lighter, they've been able to sort of move it back more on the keyboard. So you now do actually get slightly more of an angle tilting back. It's not like a massive difference, but yeah, that is another change as well. And if anyone's got any other questions on these, then, you know, just let me know in the comments. And just to get a bit of a feel of the keys, so hello, my name is Jack. Yeah, they feel really nice, really sort of like, really responsive. They feel about the same sort of travel. I don't think they've made any difference there. But overall, this just feels a lot nicer with the metal enclosure. It really does make it feel a lot more sort of premium and sturdy, and it just looks really nice. So next up, let's look at the new Apple Pencil Pro. So these actually come in like a few different box designs. They all sort of say Pro in sort of different like styles, and I really like sort of the design of the box. It's very different from the sort of just the standard sort of blank Apple box that you normally get with just the product. No replacement tips that I can see. Normally with the old one we used to get some extra tips, but I'm guessing not anymore. I don't know, maybe I just haven't found them yet. But here is the new Apple Pencil Pro. And here it is. We've still got the text up top, but now everyone will know that you've got the Apple Pencil Pro, as opposed to one of the 3 of Apple Pencils, because there's 4 Apple Pencils that Apple sells now, which is like, that is too many Apple Pencils. Hopefully they can simplify that in the future. So the pencil still attaches magnetically, and even though they've put like the camera and the Face ID up here, they've sort of redesigned it to work with this new design. So we've got a little pop-up as we pair it, and squeeze is the new gesture, so we'll try that out. So if we just go through this, so. Oh, that is very nice. There's haptics as well, so you can feel. Oh, wow. And we do still have the hover feature, so you don't actually have to touch the screen. You can just hover over things, but that is really, it's very subtle, but like, oh, wow, I'm going to be doing that a lot. That feels very satisfying. And we still have scribble, so hello. That was terrible handwriting and it still got it. Oh, and we also have Find My support, and this is going to be a lifesaver. I'm constantly losing this thing and then finding it behind the cushions and stuff, so this is going to make it a lot easier to find. So let's just give it a quick go in the Notes app. So before we had that like floating pencil toolkit, but now we can just squeeze the pencil and there's a haptic motor, so you feel a little sort of bit of feedback, and you can just get to your tools like this. And this is customizable as well, so in third-party apps they could bring up like a different menu, or use it in a different way. So that's pretty cool. And then the other new feature is the pencil now has a gyroscope, so it can detect the orientation of the Apple Pencil. So you can actually like change the direction and sort of the shape of the brush or the pen that you're using. So it feels a lot more like I guess like a real pen, and that's going to be, I'm sure, I'm not really much of an artist, but if you are an artist, I'm sure you'll really appreciate having that extra bit of control on the pencil. Right, wow. See, I'm not an artist, okay? I can't use this pencil. So first impression, I'm really liking this new iPad Pro. I really like the thinness of it. It feels kind of unbelievable to hold in the hand. And the display looks amazing as well. Can't wait to sort of, really try this out with some HDR content. I'm going to spend more time with it to do a proper review and test things like the performance, because it's kind of hard to test that with an iPad that's got nothing on it. On the accessories side, if you saw my 1.5 year review of the M2 iPad Pro, They basically added like everything that was on my wish list. So we've now got a row of function keys, a larger trackpad, and a Find My in the pencil. So yeah, really happy with those as well. But what do you guys think of the new M4 iPad Pro? Let me know in the comments, and are you going to get one? And if so, which one? If you've got any questions, then hit me up. You can also find me on social media at JTKRGB on Instagram and on TikTok. I'm going to go and set this up and have a bit more of a play around. Thanks so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe for more tech videos, and I'll see you in the next one.